The giggle is what I can't forget. Not my pregnant wife falling down the stairs. Not the scream that cut off too quickly. Not even the terrible silence that followed. It was my sister's giggle, soft, pleased, like she had just won something. Oops. That's what Madison said. My wife, Elena, was lying at the bottom of the staircase, barely moving, one hand wrapped around her 8-month pregnant belly. Oops. Like she had spilled a drink, not shattered our lives. My name is Marcus Thompson, and one small word destroyed my entire family. But to understand what really happened, you need to know why I wasn't there that weekend, and why the tiny nanny camera I hid inside our hallway smoke detector would later become the most important purchase of my life. 6 months earlier, Elena and I announced her pregnancy at Sunday dinner. The room went quiet. My mother slowly placed her wine glass down and smiled the tight, practiced smile I had grown up with. How unexpected. We had been married 3 years. We both had good careers. Elena was a pediatric nurse. I was a software engineer. We owned a house. We had savings. We had done everything right. But in my family's eyes, we had committed one unforgivable sin. We had succeeded without them. Madison, my younger sister, had always been the favorite. While I studied, she partied. While I worked, she spent. At 28, she still lived at home, still used Dad's credit cards, and still believed the world owed her everything. She tilted her head and smiled sweetly. Elena's career is finally taking off. Isn't it selfish to throw it all away for a baby? Madison, I snapped.
What?
I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. You barely have time for us now. Once the baby comes, you'll disappear into your perfect little family. My mother reached over and squeezed Madison's hand. She has a point, Marcus. Family should come first. Your real family. I should have noticed it then. The way they looked at Elena's still flat stomach. The way my sister's fingers tightened around her fork. The way my father wouldn't look at me. But I was too happy to see the warning signs. After that, the cruelty came quietly.
Madison would accidentally bump into Elena at gatherings. My mother would serve food Elena couldn't eat, then act offended when she declined. My father started making jokes about how children ruined marriages and destroyed women's lives. Elena handled it with grace. He always did. And somehow that only made them hate her more. One night, as she rested a hand on her growing belly, she said softly, "Maybe we should skip Sunday dinners for a while. Just until after the baby is born." I shook my head. "They're my family. They'll come around." She touched my cheek, her eyes sad. "Some people don't want to come around, Marcus. Some people just want to watch things burn." I should have listened. The weekend it happened, I was in Chicago for a work conference. Elena was 8 months pregnant. Tired, uncomfortable, and glowing. That morning Madison called. Her voice was syrup sweet. "I feel awful about how I've behaved. Let me come help Elena while you're gone. I'll cook, clean, whatever she needs. I want to be a good aunt." I hesitated. Elena squeezed my hand and quietly shook her head. But Madison kept pushing. "Mom's coming too. We even bought some gifts. Just a small family get-together." Against Elena's protests. I agreed. My flight was in 2 hours. What could possibly go wrong in one weekend? Everything. I was sitting in a conference room when my phone started exploding with calls. Elena's mother was screaming. A hospital staff member asked for emergency consent. My parents sounded strangely calm. "There's been an incident." I don't remember the flight home. I remember running through hospital hallways following the trauma signs, my chest burning with panic. I remember stopping in the doorway of Elena's room. Machines surrounded her. She was unconscious. A doctor stepped beside me. "Your wife suffered severe injuries. We had to perform an emergency C-section." "The baby," I whispered. "She's in the NICU. It's early, but she's alive. She's fighting." A daughter. We had a daughter. My parents arrived minutes later. Madison followed behind them. My mother dabbed her eyes with a tissue. "What a terrible accident," she murmured. "That top step has always been slippery." Something broke open inside my chest. "Elena is the most careful person I know," I said quietly. "She always holds the railing. How did she fall? Madison shrugged, inspecting her nails. Pregnancy makes people clumsy. She was carrying laundry. I stared at her. And you? I heard the noise and ran out. The giggle almost escaped her again. I saw it, the tiny twitch at the corner of her mouth. So frightening, she said softly. I turned to my mother. And you? In the kitchen. Making tea. By the time they reached her, it was already too late. Their story was practiced. Perfect. Too perfect. But in that moment I had bigger fears. Elena needed surgery. Our daughter needed to live. The questions could wait. Elena survived the first operation. Then the second. She didn't wake up. Our daughter, tiny, fierce Sophia, fought for every breath in the NICU. I lived in the hospital. Sleeping in plastic chairs. Washing my face in public restrooms. Surviving on bad coffee and pure fear. Madison came once. She brought flowers that smelled like a funeral home. How's our little miracle? She whispered beside Sophia's incubator. So small, so fragile. Anything could happen to something that weak. Get out, I said. I'm just trying to be supportive. She leaned closer before leaving. This is what happens when people reach above their station, she murmured. The fall is always the hardest. That word stayed with me. The fall. That night I went home for the first time in a week. The house felt wrong. Too quiet. Too empty. I walked up the stairs slowly, studying every step. Nothing was wet. Nothing was broken. Nothing explained a fall. At the top I stopped. The carpet runner was stained, cleaned but not completely. Then I saw a fresh scuff mark on the wall. Too high. Too sharp. Like someone had been shoved into it. My hands were shaking when I opened the security app on my phone. After a break-in on our street months earlier, I had installed cameras. Elena knew about the ones in the living room and kitchen. She didn't know about the hidden one in the hallway smoke detector. I scrolled back. Saturday. 2:47 p.m. There was Elena, carefully climbing the stairs with a laundry basket. One hand on the railing. Just like always. Then Madison appeared behind her. Elena reached the top step. Madison said something. Elena turned confused. And Madison pushed her. Not a stumble. Not an accident. 2 hands. Fast. Hard. Elena disappeared from the frame. Madison stood there. Watching. Only when everything went still did she walk down. She looked at Elena. And she giggled. Oops. Then she calmly went to the linen closet and brought out towels. She arranged them. And went to get my mother. The rest of it was a performance. Madison screaming for help. My mother calling 911. Both of them crying and clinging to each other. I barely made it to the sink before I got sick. Then I called the police. The arrest happened at Sunday dinner. I told my parents I needed family support. They believed me. We were halfway through my mother's pot roast when the doorbell rang. I'll get it, I said. 2 detectives and several uniformed officers stood on the porch. Madison Thompson? One of them asked. You're under arrest for the attempted murder of your sister-in-law and the assault of her unborn child. The room exploded. Madison screamed. My mother collapsed into tears. My father shouted about lawyers. There's video, I said quietly. She pushed my pregnant wife down the stairs. Madison froze. You recorded me in my own home? My home, I answered. My cameras. My family, that you tried to destroy. As they handcuffed her, she started laughing. Wild. Uncontrolled. You were supposed to choose us, she screamed. Blood is thicker than water. You're right, I said. And you chose to hurt my wife and my child. The trial didn't last long. The video said everything. Madison was sentenced to 15 years with the possibility of parole after 7. My parents spent everything they had on lawyers. It didn't change the outcome. They disowned me. Called me a traitor for choosing that woman over family. I changed the locks. And I never looked back. 3 weeks later, Elena woke up. The first word she whispered was, Sophia. She's perfect, I told her, showing her photos. Tiny, but perfect. Elena remembered everything. The push. The fall. The fear that our baby wouldn't survive. I knew, she whispered. At the top of the stairs. I knew she was going to do something. There was nothing human in her eyes. Recovery was slow. Physical therapy. Counseling. Learning how to feel safe again. But Elena is the strongest person I've ever known. He survived. We survived. Sophia came home after 2 months in the NICU. She's 3 now, loud, fearless, and endlessly curious. She has Elena's eyes and my stubbornness. And no connection at all to my side of the family. Sometimes letters arrive from prison. Madison insists it was an accident. That the video was misunderstood. That I destroyed the family. I throw them away unopened. My mother sends birthday cards to Sophia. Hope you're happy with the family you chose over the one God gave you. Those go in the trash too. But late at night when Sophia is asleep and Elena is beside me, I still remember that giggle. That small, satisfied sound. The sound of someone who thought they had won. Madison was right about one thing. I did choose. I chose my wife. My daughter. My future. And one day when Sophia asks about my family, I'll tell her the truth. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who share your blood. And sometimes saving your life means cutting the poison out. Even when it hurts.